Welcome one and all. I'm Dan Carey and this is HardHatChat, powered by Core 4. In this episode, just me and Curtis having a chat. We're having a chat about stress. Have a listen. So grab your PPE, machine drivers, keep those seatbelts on, site managers looking for the green light. Let's roll.
As if that fell.
Oh, what a start that is.
Curt, you didn't even touch
I
it.
literally didn't touch my mic and it is falling over.
It's season 2. It's time to upgrade the kit.
It's something to
That's
get
what I'm
stressed
saying.
about, isn't it? That's what I
Yeah.
think. Or
Yeah.
not to get stressed.
Yeah.
It's only me and Dan again today.
Hello.
I say again, you've had maybe one proper episode of us, one mini episode of us.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I think they're doing all right. I think we could actually record most of our conversations that we have on a daily basis, mainly about work, but does kind of go off on a tangent at times. And I think that'd be quite a good pod.
Sometimes I think you're right.
I mean, no, not all. It won't be good all the time.
Nah. Could get repetitive.
We do seem to have the same conversation a lot of the time, but that's just like the industry that we're in, isn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, it really is.
Like we're having the same conversations about the same people doing the same stuff which they done a week ago, a year ago, even 10 years ago, just because that's what it's like.
And that's kind of what's prompted this episode, really, as well, isn't it? Because
Well, yeah, we made this. I suppose.
we are
What are we talking about?
in the midst of working on multiple sites for multiple clients who want, particularly you,
Yes.
to be on everyone all the time.
Yeah. It's very hard to split yourself across multiple. So, like, we've got multiple sites, but we're talking about them being in the hundreds of thousands rather than in the millions.
Yes.
And it's quite often, it'd be easier for us to run a multi-million-pound project in the same place
Yeah, probably.
than what we're trying to do. So, you know, the average orders just over 200 grand, probably across 3 of the sites I can just think about in my head.
Mm.
And yeah, to say that I wake up every morning stressed and I go to sleep every night stressed is probably an understatement.
Mm.
We should have really had Mrs. C here on this one.
Yeah.
Because Mrs. C living with me at the moment is not good. And I know and I sense it. I've been there. I've done it all. I've spent years in the old sertraline and all the pills. For me, none of that worked, really. Like sertraline and that, they make you like, rather than your glass half empty, your glass is half full. And I'm not saying to people don't do it because
No.
I'm not a doctor.
We're not offering any medical advice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's
The legal
make that clear
team,
now.
the legal team are waving something at me at the moment. But what I'm saying, like, it's what works for you. And like, I'm terrible at dealing with stress. Like, and I think this is the thing that drives Cat mad. That I will be like fine on the phone
Yeah.
to the client,
Yeah.
to the lads, to even yourself, and my world's fallen apart.
Yeah.
Because I'm stressed, and like, my world will fall apart over the small things as well. Like, and it's nothing really that big that can't be dealt with, but it sometimes, you know, things just do get too much. And I think this industry, I think particularly of how busy we are, I think it's renowned for it.
Mm.
You know, I can see why people have breakdowns. I can see why there's suicides. I can see why, you know, people leave the industry.
Yeah.
It's just too stressful.
And that is a pattern of like in our conversations with others, like, about leaving the industry and things like that. That has come up. Like,
yeah, it's just like no. So like, I was having a conversation the other day, and I'm obviously passionate about construction, and the guys are miserable because, in general, on site, like, it's muddy, it's wet,
yeah, it's a tough
it's
time.
cold.
Yeah.
It is a tough time of year. Yeah, no one's got no money because of this, everything that's happening outside of our control. And, you know, they're all kind of then, because of that, they're all working a bit more. So they're all doing a 6-day week, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then, like, I got a site manager who are quite like, by the way, this isn't a dig at site managers,
No.
telling me things like the lads are working really hard and we're ahead of schedule. And he's going to me, can you tell so and so to put his hood down? Now, hoods on site have been banned for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in the howling winds, in the minus temperatures, if there's nothing and there's no risk going on around this guy, he's putting a bit of plastic pipe together, no one else around him. I think the hood is acceptable because if that makes that guy's job a bit better, then basically, so everyone's like taking their hats down. Then they give us like these little skull caps to wear
Oh yeah. I had
under
one
your
of
hard
those on
hats.
the
They're
other
just
day, yeah.
awful and they don't keep you warm.
Yeah.
And then what that's doing is that's making everyone unhappy.
Yeah.
Right.
it
And
can
that
be-
is stressing everyone out.
Yeah. It can be little things
Because
like
now,
that.
now everyone's like a bit colder than they were before.
Yeah.
So now no one wants to stay past 4:00. So then I start getting digs from the site team about site hours. I'm like, I'm not being funny. We've been here since early. We've done what we should have done.
Mm.
Everyone's freezing cold. We're going.
Mm.
Like 3R3. Like, you're not the boss of me. We're contracted to do a job. Then I'm kind of having them like level-headed conversations. But at the same time, like I'm stressed because, yeah, we do need to get more done.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we're on a fixed price. We're paying our labour. But if our labourers are unhappy and, for want of a better word, they're stressed out,
Mm.
like this is all another stress that I take on.
Yeah.
You know, then they've got kids party at the weekend that they've got to get to, so they can only do half a day, and then they've got something. Everyone's got their own stuff going on in their own lives, which is fine. The professionalism sometimes slips a bit, so
And you end up living that,
I
like the
have
results
to live
of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Of course. Yeah.
So I'm living like 10, 12 lives all the time
Yeah.
because I got to deal with, like this week alone, when we was a couple of lads down
Oh.
out of a small team,
Yeah.
and we're like two lads down,
Massive difference.
and my client said to me on one of the bigger jobs, you need to get some more lads here. And I had the conversation with him that went like this. I said, I'm not just going to get people here so it looks busy.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to do it right, and we're going to do it once, and we're just going to work as the team we are across this site, and that's going to be what we're going to do. Because like programs such a big thing now. I mean, it always has been. There was more onus when I started in the industry. There was more onus on doing it right, and now it's just getting it done.
Well, we've even had that with tenders, like recently, where they've been very honest about how they select it.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
it was
It was disgusting, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about like the NHS,
yeah,
there, aren't you?
yeah.
Like out of everyone, are they the biggest employer in the country?
Oh, got to be up there, haven't they?
I think they are.
That's one fact I should have checked.
That's a fact that I didn't realise we was going to be talking about.
No.
But and they come up with things, and they say basically we're going to buy 60% on price, and the rest of it, like, we don't
It was
care.
actually 70% on price.
Okay, it was 70.
Yeah,
okay,
higher.
it's spicy.
Yeah.
So they were buying 70% on price.
Yeah.
And then the other 30% was all really the important stuff.
Yeah.
So the other 30% was the quality, the products that you was using,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Because you're presenting your own products.
That's it.
It was like how you use and treat your staff, whether they're in your supply chain, whether they're self-employed or employed. And we read it and thought it was mad, didn't we? But I guess that's where we're wrong. Like, we're not wrong because we're doing it. We feel like we're doing it right because we do it the way that we want someone to do it for us.
But it's probably only them actually telling us what everybody else is doing. Do you know what I mean? Because we come across that.
I think it's always on tenders, isn't it? A lot of the time it's, lower. That was quite an extreme, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That said,
it
was quite up there on the price one. But I think like trusts, we won't mention the trust, but the NHS they should be responsible for some parts of what they're trying to suppress down the supply chain. So if it's just a price thing, they're pushing down then on we was going to be the main contractor on that one.
Mm.
They're pushing down the main contractor that's going to push the subbies, that's going to ultimately push the tradesman
Yeah.
and tread that guy down that's trying to like pay his mortgage and pay for his kids to go to
Yeah.
college. They're going to ultimately crush his spirit
Yeah.
by pushing all the price down. Now, if we all stuck together and we said, look, it is what it is, and we only price things right, there's a right way of doing it, there's a wrong way of doing it.
Yeah.
I think the industry would be a lot less stressful
Yeah. I think you're
because
right.
we're just all doing it right all the time. We're not going, yeah, I know, like we got to get rid of all that muck away, but let's just ram a load of recycled on top of it and use it.
Well, there's an acceptance that there's
Because
like a minimum standard,
yeah,
basically,
yeah,
that needs to be at that level.
but that standard, in my opinion, is not high enough.
No, at the moment, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's like, oh, we're all shooting for a 3. Let's all shoot for a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah,
No, let's shoot for an 8.
yeah. Then you're
Yeah, it's like we're just trying to get past, like building control standard.
yeah,
We're just trying to do this. What we're going to do, we're going to value engineer this. But that thing with that value engineering and what I'm saying with things like muck, like we value engineer it, we use recycled products and we go, oh, it's great for the environment. It's not really. We use basically rubbish where we wouldn't use rubbish products, and it makes the job harder to move the job forward.
Yep.
Hence another reason. I'm just giving you all the facts in my day, what caused me stress.
Yeah.
It caused me stress. You're dropping me off a load of recycled hardcore and it's got loads of mud in it. As soon as it rains, it turns to slop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's perfectly certifiable material to use on site.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it costs less. And
Yeah.
then the implication of the stress that it causes on me and my men,
Mm.
you know.
Do you know
I
what?
don't think no one's given it any thought past the money.
Oh no, there isn't, and I think it's quite interesting actually that we've touched on the NHS because ironically,
God, you've got facts from the NHS.
I've got facts from the NHS about dealing with stress and things like that. So yeah, to bring that up as an example of how it does.
Well, they're not. So the guys that wrote that tender are not held accountable.
No.
Or no one's saying higher up. It should be like government saying you can't buy stuff with our money. You can't buy stuff on price. You need to be buying stuff on quality. Are you treating your supply chain right? That's how you need to be buying.
And that becomes like a minimum
that
standard.
Becomes the standard.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you will out the. Let's pay. Let's not go ring around and find the cheapest machine driver. Let's ring around and find the best machine driver, because then everyone wants to become the best. They don't want to become the cheapest. And then at that point, I know you've got to have more money in the economy. It's a wider issue. And I can't remember who's the chancellor anymore, but whoever it is, they're not doing a great job anyway. So I would be up for the job, to be fair. But what I'm saying is that would increase that increases mindset straight away, and how that person's then valued. And like we was discussing earlier, massive project, we should do a whole episode on it, Sizewell on Sea.
Oh yeah.
And I had a phone call after you,
right,
randomly about saying how much money they're paying up there.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Yeah, so they're paying big money. Obviously, building like a whole city in those. It's like a city or it's like a town.
Something like that.
But we'll do something on that and like look into it a bit further. But like the locals are really not happy with it. Even though
we will try and get a nuclear scientist on the podcast to talk about Sizewell.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think we can make that happen.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Cut to 2 months' time and we've failed. But yeah, that's a target.
I mean,
we're putting it out there.
Not just a target. I kind of heard that as a pledge, Curt.
All right, yeah, I'll take it.
It's a pledge.
That one's on me.
But like you've got monster projects like that.
Yeah.
They are mopping up men. Now the problem is for us, it's a bit of a slog there.
Yeah.
It's not really on our doorstep. So it's a monster.
But the lads love staying in digs.
I don't even think there's anything round there. It's like in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, we'll
That's
do that. But
Yeah.
like, you know, so it's like for me, it's like coping mechanisms, and
Yeah.
I'm terrible at coping with stress.
So do you
So
think
I don't have really any mechanisms that work. I just know that the pills didn't work for me, and I've tried everything else. Like I've tried sport, I've tried every sport. I don't like none of it.
you don't like sport, do you? No.
Don't like none of it,
It's quite
and I don't see the point in it.
Do you
But that's just for me. And what I'm saying, like, is if sport works for you, do sport.
Yeah. I like sport, and I'll tell you why I quite enjoy it is because for that 90 minutes you're playing football, for instance.
There's other sports available.
Other sports are available. That's all you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Like your mind is off anything else. Cricket's the same. When you're like, golf is the same and isn't the same because I think just the length of time you're out there walking between shots and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't.
I get it, and I would love to love it or to do something. Like the only thing I mildly like is shooting.
Yeah, and archery and
like old school stuff. So like got my gun license, do the play.
So we're going to get
shooting, but then it's quite difficult to then. It's not a sort of thing that you can go, all right, lads, do you fancy coming kicking a ball round?
It's not jumpers for goalposts, is it? It's,
I've
got my gun.
You've got to like have, which I've got friends with lots of land that we can shoot on, but not so much like, it's still an effort to do that. What I'm saying is like, you've got to plan that.
Which brings its own stress as well,
and then like when we're working that's 6, 7. I mean, we always joke, like particularly me and Liam, that we work an 8-day week because we literally do 8 days worth of work in about 6 days, and then I get to like a Sunday and I'm shot to pieces, and then I've got the kids at home, the wife's at home, they want to do something, and I'm shot. I just want to sit there on the sofa, but then when I sit there on the sofa, that's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah, don't make you feel
if you're
better,
stressed, then you simmer.
Yeah.
In your, because is it stress? Is it depression? Is it the same? Is that the same thing? It ain't really the same thing, but it's like,
I don't know.
It can make you being stressed out can slip you into.
So is all stress a bad thing?
No, I don't think all stress is a bad thing.
No.
I think if it hypes you up and it's like, you got because there's the old school thing. If you're like a caveman, you get stressed out because you're being chased by a mammoth. Is that stress?
About adrenaline.
That's like gives you the adrenaline to get away off.
Well, that's the reason I ask is,
don't tell me the NHS have told us.
The NHS have said it's 70% price. No, sorry.
Yeah, basically, I don't trust anything the NHS says, but that is.
No, it says about a little bit of stress can be a good thing because it helps us to focus on something or complete a task, whatever. And that's what we see on site.
When I'm busier, I get more done.
Absolutely.
It's a really weird thing, but like if we're not that busy, like it'll be things will slip. Like the yard won't be as good, the vehicles won't be serviced. Like if we're not busy, but if we're busy, we'll be going. Right, make sure all the checks are done on the vehicles. Make sure the yard's sorted out because we do not have time.
No, it's definitely on top of things.
And that's weird. But I mean, I still don't know. Like, I'm still trying to find them mechanisms to like cope, to shut off, I guess to like care less. I guess I care too much.
Well, so that then you're like, well, it comes from a good place, and I really don't want this to turn into like a therapy session. I feel like
have I not? I've just left £60 on the side. Am I not paying you for this?
Because we are completely unqualified, and this is just observations that.
No, this is just me talking to you.
And I know.
And you talking back to me.
I want to make that clear.
And I mean, just make it clear to everyone, I'm not forcing you to be here.
I'm here of my own accord. Yeah.
Well, we're in the room next to your desk, actually, aren't we?
Yeah.
Special.
I've not had to go too far. But there are tips on managing stress. Just again, this is just from the NHS website. Talks about self-help techniques. doesn't really list anything too helpful in that regard. No, I'm being honest.
Yeah, but what's that? What's that like?
No, this
Self-help technique. What does that mean?
exactly. So, and this is
Do that. Breathe like woosah. Breathe woosah. Rub your ear. What?
try positive thinking.
Yeah, I get it. And like, so my wife will say to me things like that. Like, I look at everything so negatively, but it's because of the outcomes of the problems.
Well, so there's one on here. So I'll just finish that one for a minute. It says take time to think about the good things in your life.
Yeah.
List 3 things you're thankful for, however small. That's just good practical advice.
Yeah.
But so there's one here that I think is like a double-edged sword. Like, 'cause it says about planning ahead. And I think for you particularly, like I've noticed on the jobs and stuff that we're on, sometimes obviously we're trying to plan ahead, but you can almost invent like situations that haven't happened yet that are worse than the reality.
Yeah.
So I actually think that one is a bit of a dangerous one sometimes, or it can be. But it is necessary, particularly for the jobs that we're on.
Yeah. It's hard to plan too far ahead though. And that is part of the problem. And like, you know, what's happening today? It's raining really heavy. And that has literally stressed me out.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't stress me out because it's totally out of my control. But you know why it stresses me out?
Because it's going to affect...
It affects everything. It slows us up.
And in a week's time, those jobs that we're on, the site managers aren't going to remember the rain and how it stopped us do that. It's going to be...
And in turn, this just costs us loads of money. It's cost us loads of extra time. Yeah. And it's just because of it's something simple like the weather. And I suppose like that goes back to like years ago, they took like force majeure out of contracts. Like you couldn't have it in a JCT anymore. You couldn't say, oh yeah, because because of the beast from the east. I think it was back then, like 5 or 6 years ago. That held me up. So I couldn't do any concreting.
Right.
Yeah. And you can't say that anymore.
Or the old what's the other one? The ash cloud, wasn't it? That done a load of stuff, didn't it?
Yeah. But you know, that was in like travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But I'm talking, we used to be able to say, so we can do like inclement weather days and we can claim additional program time, but we can't necessarily claim. So unless anyone's going to tell me differently, so I'm always open to be wrong, we can't claim costs. So we can't claim, we got machinery in hire. We can't say because we didn't use it that day because it was raining so heavy or because we now need another day, we can't claim that cost. But it's all costs that we're shouldering. And stressing me out.
Yeah.
Like, do you get stressed?
Yeah.
So, wow.
But I don't want to talk about
it. What an answer.
No, I do. And for different reasons. Obviously, I'm not on site. But those contractual issues that arise from the things we've been discussing then become my stress in here more so. I do find it not easy, but I think easier to switch off to it for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I love sport so much.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think it's just juggling things, isn't it? Trying to keep things in their right place, and we're all different personalities, aren't we? And like you say, different things are going to work. One thing that doesn't work for you might work for someone else.
You hold a stress ball in your hand a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that's...
Do you even know you're doing it?
No, and I think that's... I don't know. I've always thrown a tennis ball at a wall or something and just caught it, and that is just...
You was like that as a kid, was you? Where you just sort of made an annoying bounce on the floor.
Yeah.
Things I shout at my children for.
Yeah.
That also stresses me out.
Oh, I'm not allowed to tap at home.
Yeah, you do tap a lot.
That is another thing. And I don't know if that might be my problem. It might not be my problem. I don't know. But the net result is I can't tap. But no, and look, we haven't got the answers like here, have we?
I think what we're saying is it's okay for a bit of stress.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel okay for me right now.
No. Look, we've got through every stressful period so far, haven't we? And
I think, yeah,
and that's
what's best. The best thing for me, or that I've found, when it's like we're stressed because of something's going wrong, it's like being honest.
Yeah.
So the moment we're honest, it
Absolutely.
like takes the weight off you, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Whether it's you got to be honest with money, whether it's you got to be honest with the program, you got to be honest you haven't got the right labour.
Yeah.
Like the amount of conversations I'm having now, and I've got better at it. So within the week, I'm having the conversations with project managers, you know, above almost site manager level, where I'm saying, look, we don't have the right labour right now. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it wrong. Let's do it right. Let's do it once. Let's do it right. And at that point, all these project managers that are so like driven on everything that, or sorry, what drives them is the program. They're happy to then move things around because you're being honest with them. Because so much of the industry is like lie, lie, lie.
Oh yeah, and
that's not the truth. But just don't give them the truth. You won't like the truth. Give them something else.
We've touched on that in previous episodes as well, and it's the one thing that I suppose it shouldn't have surprised me, but it's the one thing that just
shocks you.
I still can't get my head around what the point of it is.
Yeah,
like it's just when you weigh up the pros and cons.
Yeah,
like,
but we will have it every time. What I say to you last week about when we was having orders and we were specific times.
Yeah,
we'd book vehicles to be in areas in specific times, and they would do what they wanted
completely.
And it was absorbing the money,
ruin every plan we'd made. Yeah,
it was costing us every time.
Yeah,
and it's just like people will serve themselves first. They'll always do what's best for them. But I think you get a bit better. Like we've gone, okay, now we've got to put it in everyone's order. We've got to put it in writing. And then we got to say, if you're there before 10, like we reject your whole orders. We got to be like as brutal as that, because before we're verbally telling them, we're telling them in an email, we're saying, you know, please come between 10 and 2, do this, do that. Like, and it's very basic instructions, but then they're just doing what they want.
Yeah. And it does make things, it makes the things difficult on site, but in here as well, because we'll make the operational plans obviously before, but we're on such a tight schedule on each program, and you've got that times by each site.
So a lot of people will say, oh, but it's just construction, just stop moaning about it. But it's not though, is it? Because we plan it. We do weekly, bi-weekly look aheads. We plan things in advance. We try our best. But we have so many moving parts all the time, don't we?
And that's what I was just going to say. Like, you're relying on different elements and different people.
You're only as good as your weakest link, aren't you? And we're always relying on.
That is it.
We're always relying on like bottom of the food chain, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then the respect being
no offense to all our suppliers.
No, it is though, because the suppliers like, okay, you want a load of muck away, they just sub it out, you know, and then all of a sudden we're not one of their customers, so we're not being treated with the respect that we've been promised.
Exactly.
We're not getting a muck every 20 minutes. We're getting one every 2 hours, or we're getting 6 turn up at once, or whatever it is. Like, and there's a reason why we book them. And then there's a breakdown in, because there's such a thing on like sales all the time. I mean, that's another thing that stresses me out. If this is like a therapy session, this is like it's constant, isn't it? Like we've got to make sales all the time, and then we've got to keep them at a good level. So we've got to have
they've got to be worth doing,
a mix of clients, haven't we?
Yep.
All the time, because that has other issues within the company, within cash flow and that. So we always have to be looking at
and I know that stresses you. That's the big stress for me.
Like work's always there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always there, but it's like the right balance of it all the time.
And also,
because you can overtrade so easy.
Yeah,
and when you're overtrading, you sound like we're overtrading at the moment, Curt. The way you went,
Well,
no, you can just stretch yourself, and then you're no good anymore, are you?
overtrading's annoying, like, because you get penalised for doing good work.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't. I'm saving that one for the insurance episode.
Right. Okay.
No, but you really do, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, you overtrade, you do a bit more turnover, you do another £500,000 what you forecast, and then you get smashed up the ribs by the tax man, by your insurance broker,
by suppliers, even
by supply chain shut you down.
I need more stuff.
You're overtrading.
Yeah.
And you're going, okay, well, am I overtrading or am I growing? What's the difference?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. And I get it. I get all these things are done on risk and all of that, but
well, the problem is construction in general is looked at as a risky thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Not so much.
Not if you're a big company.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to basically any of this. I mean, I'm about to probably tonight. I'm going to have a JD because I'm that stressed.
Well,
that might help me. Does it say on the NHS website?
No, I'll tell you.
God,
I'll tell you what.
Avoid alcohol.
Stress can make us behave differently, especially around how much we eat or exercise, our habits around drinking, smoking, or other substances, or how much we see or do. How much we see people or do things we used to do or enjoy. So that's the effects. But it says be more active. It actually doesn't say anything about alcohol consumption. I would have thought it would.
Well, thanks.
But it does. It does say talk to someone. So there's step one. No, the point is, look, it's a big problem in construction, isn't it? And we've spoken to and worked with a lot of people that are doing a lot of good things around it as well.
Yeah.
Some will work better for others and vice versa. Get construction talking, construction sport, Lighthouse, Mates in Mind, all of those ones we've had like dealings with, haven't we?
Yeah.
And
they're all doing
it's positive,
all doing
stuff,
cracking work. Yeah,
right,
we just need to.
Yeah, and we're not saying we're doing that. We're just telling you what's happening on the ground at site level, aren't we? Basically, and
I'm just
running it.
I'm just basically venting because my wife won't listen to me anymore.
Well, thank you for listening to Dan vent.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the stress episode. It is a real issue, particularly in construction. And all those avenues are available, aren't they? Basically, that we've mentioned. If
we're going to be sticking some videos out across the socials,
across
the new socials,
the new socials.
So some interaction, some ideas.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the way that I look at this and the way that I look at anything, if you can make a difference to one person's life, and sometimes just saying like it's okay, it's okay to be stressed, it's okay to not be okay. Let's just because we all need that sometimes.
Yeah, I actually think this will be quite a powerful episode. Like, to be honest, it's quite just real and honest, isn't it?
Should we hug it out?
I feel like so. Did you used to watch Frasier?
Used to. I still watch it every morning when I get out with the kids. Yeah, it's early morning.
I should have started with I'm listening.
Yeah,
but yeah. No, thank you everyone for listening. Obviously, we've got lots of different subjects throughout this season. Are we still going with seasons?
Yeah. No, we're still saying seasons.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Throughout this season. So yeah, like, subscribe, download, give us any sort of feedback you want. We prefer positive, but we'll take on constructive criticism, such as stop making it sound like that guy has been dragged there.
No, you're good. You're good now. Now that you got that new chair, you're all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time.